Today we're going to talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as battle fatigue or shell-shocked. I have to move into the realm of male initiation and male mythology and the ancient ways of men. This is about your soul and the journey of your soul and getting your soul back home from combat where you left it. That's what this is about. So, up until recent times, say the last few hundred years, a man always went through an initiation ceremony, a male rite of passage. All the tribes, all the cultures sent the boys through this process, somewhere around 12, 14 years old. Native Americans, Africans, Celtics, Asians, Europeans, everybody had their way. And usually the adult elders, the unrelated elders to the young boys, would come and take them away at one night and take them off to some sacred, special, secret place, and they would put them through this initiation process. And when they came back to the village, they were different. I'm gonna talk about 3 stages of initiation. The first one is separation. The second one is ordeal, or hero's journey. And the third one is reintegration. Now, if you want to look at that in terms of, say, the Native Americans, they would take their young warriors off and they would put them through a test or tests, which would be the ordeal. Well, first of all, they take them away from the tribe, which is separation. Then they would put them through this ordeal, this test, this trial that would change them from boys to men, which would be the ordeal, the hero's journey. And then when they came back to the tribe, they were reintegrated as warriors, as not boys anymore, but men. So that's it, the 3 stages: separation, ordeal, reintegration. Now, you think about combat, it's an initiation ceremony. So then all of a sudden they're separated from all of this, and they're taken away by these drill instructors. And so they're in separation. They have left their culture. They have left their comfort zone. So then they're sent off after some training. Very little, I might add, at least for the Vietnam War. They're sent off to combat. Now here we have the ordeal, the hero's journey, where you're tested, where you leave the little boy back in the United States, and the man is going to come out of you. The man is going to come out of you and keep you alive while you're in Vietnam or Afghanistan or wherever you might be. This is the hero's journey. This is the ordeal. Okay, so we have the hero's journey. And now we move to the final 3rd stage of reintegration. And here lies the problem. Now we are going to find dysfunction, failure, and incompletion of the initiation experience. Initiation is a life-changing, transformative process. And it's a good process. It takes us from being boys to being men. If we complete all 3 stages. You're going to come back through one of the California airports. And maybe some of it's urban legend, but certainly a lot of, quote, hippies and anti-war protesters would be at the airports and would harass the returning soldiers. Now, that's not reintegration as it's meant to be. It's not being embraced by your culture. It's not being honored and held up by your culture. It's not being recognized that you have transformed into a man, that you are different. You've been through the hero's journey, and you should be held up in high esteem. And any culture does not hold its warriors up in high esteem is a culture on the way out. It's a culture in failure. The Native Americans get it right. They really understand this whole warrior thing. And when they send one of their warriors off to go into combat, and this is in modern times, I'm not talking about back in Custer's time, I'm talking about today, they go through a ritual in which they basically shift the psyche of this civilian, nice tribesman who wouldn't hurt a fly. They basically go through a ritual transformation, giving this man permission to be a killer, a warrior, to bring that out in him. And they send him off to combat. And he's ready. His psyche is ready. When he returns from his hero's journey, the tribe holds him up as high as anybody. The warrior clan in the Native American culture is the highest. There is none higher than a warrior. And when they come back, they go through another ceremony, another ritual, that they take this killer who is in this, full-time killer mode, and they do rituals and ceremonies to try to do the best they can to shift that psyche back from the killer to the civilian that wouldn't hurt a fly. And they're successful at it. So this lone soldier goes back home, theoretically, to his girlfriend, his wife, his parents. They don't have a clue what this man has been through. And they don't particularly want to know. And he doesn't particularly want to talk about it. There is no ceremony when he hits the house. There's denial. My father and mother treated me like I had been gone away for a long weekend when I came back from Vietnam. My father didn't shake my hand. He didn't congratulate me. So, what's this problem with post-traumatic stress disorder, which is, by the way, what keeps you alive in combat? You don't really, you don't really attach yourself to people because that's not a good thing for your soul. You're buddies one day, and this guy's, in the morgue the next day. You see his exploded body laying in front of you the next day, and this was the guy you were having chow with the night before. No, you don't do that after a while. You detach. That's best for everybody. Detach. Now you cover his back, and you will perhaps even sacrifice your life for this person, but you're not gonna be best buddies, really. There's always going to be arm's length. That's all part of this. So you come back from Vietnam, there is no reintegration ceremony. There is no reintegration stage of initiation. So I'm here to tell you that what is needed is to complete this soldier's initiation ceremony. So it's about reintegration. Your soul, and you've got to work on that soul. You've got to have, for one thing, you've got to be honored. You've got to be honored in the reintegration process. And I don't mean some Mickey Mouse parade, something with some depth, something with something that's held in a sacred space. Not in a hotel or walking down Constitution Avenue or something in a circle of people. And it's important that civilians and women are part of this reintegration ceremony, this ritual. And Importantly in the reintegration process is the storytelling, that every soldier has his story and it needs to be spoken. It needs to be heard. That's part of the reintegration process. You've got to tell your story. You've got to get that story out of you, my friends. Reintegration. And it has to be done with loved ones, civilians, women, friends, anti-war protesters, whoever will show up and honor you and hear your story and welcome you home and acknowledge you and hold you up in esteem as the Native Americans do. And that will complete this initiation, this combat zone initiation. Now, I'm not going to say that that's going to, that PTSD is going to magically leave you. And the more you work on yourself, the more you work on your man issues, your soul issues, the more work you do on your inner work, deal with your psyche and your soul through rituals and ceremonies, like has been done down through the millennium. This is how men have done things all throughout time, is initiatory rites of passage. That's all this is about. And it's got to be completed. Over and out.